All right, looks like we're live. Sarah.
Cory, Cory.
How did you say your name?
Sarah.
Oh, yours.
Yeah, mine is a difficult one. Marika.
Marika.
Yes.
All right, so we're live here with Sarah, Cory, and Marika, the winners of the mini hunt today. I see we've got 3 people so far. That when you come in, if you can say hello, like say something on the side, and we'll know you're there. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So obviously, you guys found the key today. Who actually picked it up off the ground?
I did.
And what was that feeling? So I've been talking to these guys. I know already that you guys were out yesterday. You started looking yesterday. Let's jump straight to today for a second. Then we'll go back to yesterday and talk about how you found all this. What was that moment like when you picked up the rock? Did you know it was the rock when you picked it up, or were you just picking up different rocks?
No, I knew that was the rock.
You could kind of tell, huh?
Yeah.
It didn't fit the rest of the rocks that were sitting there.
Yeah, I used to geocache years and years and years ago, and I was like, I recognize that.
You're like, I've seen one of those fake rocks.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like when Dad picked it up? Were you near Dad at the time, or were you searching over?
I was right next to him, and I kind of squeaked a little bit. And she was over around the other side of the stadium, so I ran to go grab her, and we came back and realized that we found the key.
Oh my God. That feeling is just so awesome. That you found something in this entire city, that you narrowed it down to one specific location is so amazing. So we're going to talk about Cory, do you want to start first since you found it? And you 3 can all interject and just talk about from the beginning to now and where you went, what you did, and how you ended up here now.
Well, yesterday Marika had mentioned this was going on, and she started telling me the clues. And I started looking on Google Earth between Canyon County and Ada County, trying to line up a veteran cemetery and all this other stuff. And then you posted the clue about the 9th largest city. And it dawned on me that you weren't talking about a city at all. You were talking about the 33,600 seats or whatever it is over at Boise State. That's actually the 9th largest city in the state when it's full. And once we found that, we looked at the areas around it and found that 2C was a word with 2 C's in it, or a name with 2 C's in it, versus Canyon County. And then everything just kind of started falling into place at that point.
So the very first clue with the from where I sit, I see the cross a little to my left.
Thought that was Table Rock, to be honest.
Yeah,
in the beginning, yeah.
Did that first clue send you? Did you guys go anywhere with just that first clue, or did you just stay home and study a little bit and wait for some more things to come out until you had an idea? Mm-hmm. So you didn't actually act upon going outside to look until the city.
The 9th largest, yeah.
Yeah.
And then did that convince you enough at that moment to actually get in your car and go?
Yeah, once we hit the 9th city clue, I had a feeling that was the right way to go. We decided we would go out and look for it.
And then what happened when you got to the stadium? Obviously you didn't find it yesterday, so what happened when you got there? Where were you looking? What were some other things that threw you off, or that you thought was part of the clue, maybe that wasn't? Where all were you searching?
Well, we started at Christ Chapel because that's what we felt was the 2C. So we just searched all around the little church and couldn't really find anything there. And then we just drove around campus a lot. We saw what was his name? The statue on the other side.
Lyle Smith statue.
Yeah.
Which we thought was the Man in the Hat.
Yeah.
And then we saw the little Veterans Memorial over by the Student Union building. Thought that might have something to do with it, so we wandered all around through that area. But we kept coming back to the Christ Chapel. We just felt like that was where it was going to be.
You felt like the 2C was pretty
Yeah.
secure, the Christ Chapel. Let's see. So like then how did you decide to give up? Like what made you say, you know what, we're going home?
It got dark.
Yeah,
Like-
after the last clue, the extra clue, we still weren't sure. So we just decided to give up and maybe try again today, depending on what other clues we
What
would
clues
get.
came up?
Yeah.
When you went home last night at dark, how on a 100% scale, how sure did you feel that you were that it was where you were, you just didn't know exactly where to find it?
I would say 90%.
Like, so you guys were
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah. I kept trying to prove it otherwise that it would be somewhere else. And it kept coming back, no, this is better than that. This is better than this. It just felt right.
But then there were also some clues that we weren't sure about, like the red, white, and blue. We didn't really know what that would refer to.
Train. The train.
The train
Yeah.
clue. So like and like everyone else, did anyone out there like anyone that's watching right now, did you solve the train clue? Does anyone have an idea of what that even is about? Because no one in this room did, but you didn't have to obviously to find it. I knew that you would have to be a football fan definitely to know that clue. So when I put the picture out, like did you watch the pictures that I put out beforehand? When I put that picture out that had the field with the blue flowers,
Mhm.
I was kind of going for the blue field idea and a train track running through it. Jay Ajayi, which was number 27, which on the train then that I put out later on front of it, it was train number 27. Jay Ajayi's nickname was the J Train. And he was a running back, so like the J Train ran through that field many times. That was the reference to Sarah Collins. I thought you were going to get that. I thought you might bust me on the J Train. They're big football fans, and I thought for sure the same with in the first riddle where it talks about. So let's go back to you guys and finding it today. So now go into today, and let's go from this morning to how you found it.
Yeah, so the clue this morning really just confirmed that we were in the right area when you talked about Michael, and the chapel used to be called St. Michael's something.
St. Michael's Episcopalian.
Yeah. So we just went back to that area, and there were a lot more people searching that same area today.
So it was much more popular today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did all you guys know that it was at Boise State by the time it was found? Like, did any of you guys know that? No answer, but so go ahead. And so you came back down to Boise State, and like, you still didn't know exactly where it was. Like,
No, we just knew that area, so we went down to the Greenbelt and also to the other side of the river, searched there along the Greenbelt in all directions, and then we just came back and decided to wait for the next clue, kind of.
mhm.
And then I kept thinking about the sitting down in the clue. So I told him there have to be benches or chairs or something somewhere. And then he walked over to the benches and found it.
Yeah, so those 2 stone benches, I thought I haven't checked there. So one place I haven't looked in this whole area.
Which is strange. Like, why are those benches there?
Right?
Are they not in the most odd place?
Right.
Like, for no real reason at all? I'm assuming maybe when the stadium didn't have a fence around it, or maybe there was a stadium fence on the outside of those or something. That's all I can think of. I don't know why those benches are even.
Yeah, they're
where
not
they are.
comfortable. They're not,
No.
not in a good spot. It just,
There's just these 2 cement benches, and it was under the one right before you go into that entrance up that. Like,
And then when we were there, we saw the stairs coming down from the church directly towards those benches. So then that clue made sense. But that was after we found it.
yeah. So now, we'll just kind of go through a few more of the clues. If you guys have any questions on any of the clues, type them in on the side and I'll answer those also. I did not. I just got off work before I invited you guys over, so I wasn't as prepared as I should be. So I'm going to try to find all the clues now on Facebook and read them that way. So the first one was, I can get it to open. From where I sit, I see the cross a little to my left. For all those that we have lost, you proudly gave your best. Red, white, and blue, you stood true. Your statue we adore. I'm in a rock that's near to sea. Now off to battle, roar. So the whole idea with that clue was like the first line, obviously the cross a little to the left, was on the church. You can also at night you can see it better. Like you can see the actual cross too. And while you're sitting there, you can see both of those, and they're both to your left a little bit. And so it could have been either one. For all of those that we have lost, you proudly gave your best. Football games,
That's what
they've lost plenty, but the players played their hearts out. Red, white, and blue, you stood true. True blue was what I was going for on that line.
That makes sense.
Like red, white, and blue, you stood true. Your statue we adore. I bet no one can figure that one out now that it all makes sense. The Statue of Liberty from the Fiesta Bowl that won us the biggest game in the world. I thought for sure that was going to give it away to a football fan. Like I knew that a lot of people were playing who weren't football fans, and they probably wouldn't get that line. And I almost didn't use this clue because of that line, because I thought it might give an unfair advantage to someone to find this clue. And I'm glad it didn't, because it's kind of cool that that was not what gave this away immediately. Because if someone figured that out, they would have got it immediately. So your statue we adore. What's the next line? I'm in 2C, near 2C, obviously. So there were two 2Cs. There was Christ Chapel, which you guys caught on to. And then the other 2C, Cesar Chavez Lane, runs right in front of Christ Chapel and right between the football stadium on campus.
Mhm.
Those were where I was going with the 2C references. Those of you who played the first one in December should know not to believe anything that I say and take it at face value.
Yeah,
They all went to. If you go back and watch December's winners, you'll see what I'm talking about. Everyone went to the village because of the clue. Like, so that was the first clue. Obviously, like we talked about, Jay Ajayi being the train, because we had a lot of train references. The roar reference was the roar of the crowd.
Mhm.
Like, so that was kind of where that came in. I saw a lot of people searching Bora High, thinking that it had a Lions reference because I had put that lion out there in that first picture. And so I kind of got a few people off on the wrong track with that, but I felt like if I didn't use some little odds and ends to get people off track, it was so obvious with some of the things that a football fan would have gotten that it wouldn't be very fair. So I wanted to make sure. What other clues can you think of that you guys were like, what? This doesn't even make sense. Like, do you have any that you can think of that besides the train one? Because I'm sure that didn't make sense to you at all.
We were kind of hung up on trying to find a train station, somewhere that the train may have stopped at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I was trying to push it a little bit into like not letting that be too obvious to my football fans. Obviously the horse reference, the stick horse was a Bronco. Almost, I found the one that looked the closest to Buster Bronco I could find this morning. It literally almost looks like our mascot, like the head of our mascot when you look at that horse head. So I talked about that. You guys don't have any questions of online? Any questions of any of clues that stumped you guys out there? That you just still are like, wait, what? You guys all act like you know right where it was now.
Yeah, right.
Why didn't you all find it if you knew all these answers? So the roar was the roar of the crowd, Daniel. That was why it said roar at the end. And off to battle, like often you'll hear announcers say it's gonna be a battle tonight, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we kind of got all
Right.
of those football references. Yeah. There's
And
not
then-
the train one.
And then I did throw in the rock. I tried to use that as a reference because a lot of times they'll say you're gonna go throw the rock when you're gonna go throw the football around or kick the rock, like they used to, I guess, call it that. So I tried to use when I used some of the throwing references, I used the reference of that it's round. Like I'm trying to think of some of the other references I used, but everything had some weird little thing in it that once it started making sense, you could just go bam bam, all this makes sense now. Like
Mhm.
so it's kind of fun
Yeah.
to see that. But that's where I was found. So at Boise State,
And somebody's
On
asking
the
about the Atari.
east
The Atari
side.
was a line.
Oh, the Atari was like the actual reference to Atari was more of the fact that everything turns blue when you eat one of the ghosts. That's what my brain was thinking. So the picture didn't really have anything else to do with it except that all the ghosts turned blue, and I was trying to get people to start thinking blue, which didn't work at all. But I can't remember what I wrote with the Atari. Do you guys remember what I wrote? It was that clue was actually in the writing. I think it's right here. Let's see. No, that's the Hail Mary.
I think it was the one about studying the trains because it was getting dark and that was the last clue.
Yeah, like I think it was another train reference, mate. Like study up on your trains. Oh, that was the extra clue. Was no? So the extra clue also had 27. When you guys hit 27 likes on that post, I don't know if you guys remember, and I said you guys got 27. So I can't believe it. Like I was again trying to get you to look into that number. If you Google that number a little bit in Boise, depending on what you Google, Jay Ajayi comes up. And so that's why I was trying to reference that 27 because I figured that was the way that non-football fans could Google it and find something out about why that 27 would be there too. But all right, well, if no one has any other questions or anything, we'll let these guys go spend their money. And thanks for playing. Are you guys going to play? What do you have any wisdom for people that are going to play this next or that see this and might want to play? Like, did you have fun?
I can give my
Yeah.
secrets away.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Did you tell anyone outside your family, like, and try to get them to help? Or
Oh,
did you
yeah.
just keep it to yourselves?
Yeah, late last night I was texting some buddies who live around town, asking them what their thoughts were. And yeah, they came up with, oh, it's in the National Guard training area way down south, or it's out in Emmett, you know.
Yeah, if you look at it face value, this one was one of those that would send you on a wild goose chase.
Mhm.
Like until you started narrowing it down and figuring it out. It definitely was. So
Yeah.
would you play again?
Oh, we will
Yeah.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Perfect. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. We'll let you all go. Let these guys go home. Thanks for playing. We appreciate you. And hopefully the next one is February. It's our Valentine's hunt. It's on the 12th, which is Friday. Valentine's, I think, is obviously Sunday. So spend that weekend with someone you love or your family that you love. Like, it'll be a blast. And tell all your friends. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.
Good hunting.